All right. Hey, Dill, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, brother. Doing well, man. So today, we are going to be talking about how to attack a spread base. Dill, what is a spread base?
So spread bases are kind of simple. They're the bases that take up the entirety of the map, where the bases are quite divided. They typically have the same style, where they have four empty corners that are filled with traps, and they generally look like what you have on screen. So, so yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And so, just as a heads up, the what we're talking about today is mainly only for the mortar siege para strategy. So if you run fighters or anything else, it will not work for you. What we're talking about today. So again, only for those who are mortar para siege. So
This
yeah.
base design is really made to kind of counter bombers and fighters, so that's kind of mainly the reason. They're also really designed against heavy tanks, but that's besides the point. Anyways, just
So
continuing.
so Dill, what's the first what building do we want to take out first?
So the first with your mortar siege strategy is that you want to take out the silo. The silo can really end your day. You just kind of want to get rid of it really nice and quickly. So he'll demonstrate, I think.
Yep, here we go. So you'll notice a couple of things first. So you'll see here that I send out my drone and a couple of decoy planes. That's because I want to make sure if there's any SAMs or GCIs that they take them out, right? You don't have to do that. In fact, in more advanced para dropping strategies, you probably don't have to do that. But Dill can talk a little bit more about that in a second here. But as far as the sequence goes, I take out my drone first. I then do some decoy planes again to trigger any SAMs or GCIs. You'll then see that I unleash my two paras and then I unleash my recon. I see a lot of folks do the recon first and then the two paras. Do not do that. Do the two paras first and then the recon. That way you maximize how much time the buildings will be vulnerable for. And so I'll play it again here. So you can see there goes my paras, my recon, and I recon in a spot where it takes both the town center as well as the silo. Because I see a lot of folks who just send a recon and they only target the silo and not the town center. And by doing that, you're not able to take out both buildings with one para deployment. So moving on.
Don't forget to protect.
Oh yeah, thank you, sir. So the moment you can see here, the moment the paras are released, um, you want to be able to protect them, right? And so, Dill, do you want to talk about where to protect?
Yeah, prayers are all the units in the game are a bit tricky to actually tell where they're landing. So the way to tell is that they're not actually parachuting from the sky. So when you click on them, there's a little circle underneath the feet of the paratroopers. It's easier on the bottom one if you look a little lower where the road network is, next to the Red Baron engine on the left, and the air defense and the Acropolis. So yeah, just zoom in, zoom.
Okay.
Yeah. So you see how there's a little
Oh,
man on the right and there's like a little shadow? That it shows up the second you click on a building. Once the paratrooper comes out of the transport, the flying built plane, there will instantly be a little circle. The icon of the guy parachuting down is just it's a visual thing. The unit is where that circle is, and that's where you're gonna want to protect. The same rule applies for helicopters and Zukov and other stuff. They'll always have a little circle underneath the object.
so protect. So don't click on the actual paratrooper. Click on the circle, right?
Exactly.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So I unleashed my paras. I protected them. Now I send my to the town to the silo, and then I AR the town center. Bam! It was a very quick victory. Now I know Dill, you were critiquing my para drop. Do you want to talk about how a better way to do a para drop?
Paradropping is a bit of a learning skill. It doesn't just it takes a lot of practice to understand, but the basic idea is that you want to fly your transports in the safest direction, where you don't want to have to use troop tactics to take out the SAMs and the GCI. This is something you'll learn and practice over time. But the idea is that if you see a bunch of air defenses in a line, try to go around it because you have a rally that lets your troops move quickly to wherever you want them to, and an assault rally that lets them really run to where you want. So personally, an easy target for someone who's just experimenting with this would be the library. But if you're a little bit more experienced, you would use something. So paratroopers can actually land on any tile in the map. as long as it's on the map and it's a free tile or building, they can land anywhere. So personally, I would have landed it on the road between where the road is. Exactly. Uh, I would have landed them there, and then they would have not hit any SAMs probably. Less air defense for shooting them, and I would have just walked in, rallied into the silo, assault rallied into the town center. Same thing, just a little bit different location of where I'd be dropping.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So again, send the two paras, send the recon, protect. Oh, yeah. So the other thing is, the moment I send my recon out, you look on the right there, I'm actually scanning. So right there on the right, I'm now scanning. A lot of folks I see do not do this. They usually scan around the missile silo, and it's a hit or miss whether or not they're traps. There will always be traps on this corner, right, Dill?
Always, every time. This base design is made so that there are traps in each one of the four corners. So we just get rid of them right away.
Awesome. So again, my buttonology sequence is send my two paras, then my recon. I then scan, and then I protect my paras. Again, the reason behind all this is you want to maximize the time so that you hit the base as fast as possible. So uh, paras, recon, scan, protect, and then from there you can take out the silo and then take out the town center. And then you unleash your main army. Usually the heavy hitters, the generals, the um, embassy or any high hit points folks. I usually lead the front. My APCs as well, and then yeah, just the rest of my troops go, and it's a nice free for all throughout the base. Dill, do you want to talk about what you do with your paras as far as second deployment goes?
There is one thing I'd like to add, two things I'd like to add before we move on to that. The
Yeah.
first thing is that it might seem a little bit complicated when you're doing that deployment of the protect and the recon and the scan. The reason why we do it in this fashion is because on your system tray where the units are, they're all kind of close together. So as long as you have the bar so that the scan is on one side and the recon and the paras are there, you could be able to click all of them at the same time and you don't have to swipe the bar all over the place. That
Mhm.
depends on the phone and whatever. Anyways, carrying on. When he drops so we do the para go after the town center, the silo. Now we're dropping the main army. The one thing I'd like to add here is that when the stronghold troops come out, when the fort troops come out, your army is already dealing with a bunch of things. Let's give them some help. Let's throw in a protect. Let's throw in a heal. I mean, let's throw in a recon because the faster we can kill those enemy troops, the faster we can kill this base, and the more troops we have left living. So yeah. So if you can just show the rest, and then we can talk about the second deployment. There you go. Look at that. No, even a decoy helps sometimes. SOG helps Strength of the Gladiator from the Colosseum. Stuff like that helps a lot. Drone also he probably should move, but it's okay. Um, you know. Also, usually by now, when your army's walking through the base, you probably have extra time with your paratroopers. Paratroopers, I like to throw them in the where the AT guns are in the bastions on the opposite side of the base. He'll show you in a second here.
Oops.
Oh, it's okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
What do you
So
want me to show, Dill?
the corner, left-hand corner. So
Oh yeah.
paras you have to understand is always trying to help clean up your army. Like, I mean, if your army's dying, you can send the paratroopers after them. That works too to help them out. But I like to use my paratroopers as support. So, usually my main army's fine, and I'll send them on the opposite side of the base, and I'll just line them on the AT guns. But other than that, I think that's really it. Once you get this, the spread bases are always the exact same. Like they're not, there's really nothing new. Every time they make a spread base, it's traps are always in the corners. You need to kill the silo. You throw the scan in the corner and you push with the main army. Always the same
Exactly.
tactic.
I guess, Dill, what would you do if the town center is not close to the missile silo?
That gets a bit trickier. I would still probably prioritize, especially on a 3-0, I would prioritize taking out the silo. And if it's way too far that I can't deal with it, I'd probably drop my army near the town center.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if it's a 3D, that's when we're having a different conversation. But for now, that's what you would be doing.
Right. So again, the main point, team, is just to take out the silo, right? Use your para recon in that order, and then scan. Okay. If there's one thing I want you to take away is use para, recon, scan, protect. Get used, like practice that in multiplayer, right? Because I mean, it took me a while to get used to it, but now it's like second nature to me. And so, yeah, hopefully you guys will have fun with that.
Good luck.
Good luck, everyone.